Is America a Christian nation? Question being asked more and more, with the answer being given more and more often by those who are Christians to say, oh, no, we're not. Oh, no, we're not, which is very strange to me when you start off with founding documents that talk about, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that we're created and so forth, and the Creator. That doesn't necessarily mean Christian, of course, but those who wrote those words were either Christians in a generic sense, or at least deist or theist in a broader sense, as compared, for example, with the founding documents of France, where they don't talk about that. It's all about liberty and so forth, but there's no reference to God in the founding documents of France. And you look at the two cultures, France and the United States alone, just look at those two cultures, and you can see vast differences in assumptions that are made about moral issues and even political and economic issues. So we started off in the American experience with some assumptions. Not everyone was Christian. Thomas Jefferson, for example, didn't like the miracles in his Bible, so he kind of X'd those out. Not all the founding fathers were what we would call church-going folks today, but they all understood some basic premises that were founded on a God and a system of laws that assume moral responsibility and acts of patriotism and acts of civility and so forth that assume a kind of Christian context. Are we a Christian nation? Well, I've had a colleague, by the way, a former colleague, who wrote an article saying, well, no, because we haven't been perfectly Christ-like. But right away there's a problem with that, because on one level we are certainly, compared with other nations, we're not a Buddhist nation, we're not a Muslim nation, we're not an atheistic nation, we're not a Hindu nation. As compared with those, most of the people in the States would identify with Christianity, not with the Muslim faith or the Jewish faith or the Hindu faith and so forth. So, I mean, just at a fundamental level, yes, we are a Christian nation. But have we acted perfectly as a Christian nation as Christ would have us? No, absolutely not. In fact, at this moment in time, we should be in a complete embarrassment to Christ, the way our nation is acting. We are not a Christian nation in that sense. But when people, even members of the church, who are talking about Christian nationalism as being something that we should be ashamed of, flag waving and so forth. Well, I don't want a flag in the church building. No, God is not American. Jesus is not American. But when we're using that expression in a culture that is trying to do everything in its power to keep us from being Christian, then we should not join forces with people who are trying to get us away from God. Why would we ever team up with them to say that? Just because some people abused it, some people have mixed politics and the Christian faith more than they ought to have, well, that shouldn't be done. But because some people have abused it doesn't mean that faith is not important to how a nation works. Righteousness exalts a nation, and sin is a reproach to any people. You take away the faith of a nation, and I'm guaranteeing you're taking away the future of that nation. It cannot long last if you take away the load-bearing walls of faith. So I'm a little bit upset, more than a little bit, you can tell that in my voice, I'm more than a little bit upset with particularly those within my own fellowship who just keep on harping about, well, we shouldn't be involved in Christian nationalism. I don't want to wave the flag in church. but neither do I want to take faith from the public square. You do that, and we're lost.